Welcome to the Dude Bro Medium podcast, where we break down spiritual stuff in a way that actually makes sense. Because it should be useful, not weird. I'm your host, Jess, psychic medium and spiritual teacher. Welcome to the Dude Bro Medium podcast. Today we are talking about my lore. How is it that a little angsty, skeptical kid became a psychic? I've been a psychic medium for 5+ years now, and I was working under the name The Spiritual Singer. So if you heard me tell this story there, it's probably going to be a little more accurate because it all just happened. Whereas now it's been all of that stuff and then 5 years of working. So let's see how I do. You might think that somebody who ends up working as a psychic always felt a gift or could always see dead people. I mean, to be honest, I did have an imaginary friend who was an angel and her name was Angela. And I don't think I've ever told anybody that before. So that maybe should have been a clue, but I never thought about it like that. And it is proven that kids have a way easier time making contact with the spiritual world because they don't have all of these fears and blocks that adults have. Anyway, that's another podcast for another time. 3 or 4 really strange things happened in a row. And at the end of that, I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. And I'm going to tell you what they are. So the first thing was that my mom got kind of into spirituality, I guess. And she doesn't really like to do things alone. So she started taking me on these readings with her. And I was always kind of like, yeah, whatever. This is like shaking a magic 8-ball. Like none of this is going to come true. So she brings me to this one astrologer. And the astrologer tells me that the boyfriend that I'm dating at the time is no good for me. Which obviously to an 18-year-old is the worst thing you can say. Or 20 or however old I was. And that I was moving to Germany, which was crazy because I was so dead set on living in Italy for the rest of my life, even though I had not yet lived there for longer than 3 months at a time. And as I'm leaving her house, and after this reading, which I'm thinking in that moment is all fake, even though it all ended up coming true, spoiler alert. So we're leaving her house, and she goes to me, I've never done this before, but I have to give you this deck of cards. Okay. Anyway, I guess I tried to work with the cards once or twice, but they're angel cards. They're very generic. If you don't have your intuition open, they're really not going to do that much. It really is like playing with a magic 8-ball. So I kind of just forgot about them until I continued on dating that boyfriend that she told me not to date, even though I should have listened to her. And one night after going out with some friends, it was Halloween. And there was some weird moon or something that night where they warned people. Like I had heard somebody saying like, don't get drunk, because I had already started kind of looking at spiritual content, but not really. And so somebody was like, don't get drunk because the veil is thin, but it was Halloween and I was in university. So obviously I went out with my friends and had too many drinks. And when I got home that night, I felt, I know this sounds crazy. I really know this sounds crazy, but I felt my grandparents' presence. I felt somebody put my blankets, cover me with my blankets, and like not give me a hug. I don't know, you know when somebody who loves you tucks you into bed. And the next morning when I woke up, I found my grandmother's funeral prayer card in my purse, which may not be strange. You'd think like maybe you just didn't use the purse from the funeral, but that purse had been used. She had died like 5 years beforehand, and that purse had been used by myself and all of my girlfriends. We were all girls that age, just like to share each other's clothes. And so that purse had been passed around, and there was absolutely no way that that card could have been sitting in there for 5 years. It gets weirder. So I leave that relationship and a lot of stuff happens. We won't go that deep, but I'm taking a road trip with some friends, and we're in the middle of nowhere. We drove from Toronto, Canada, where I grew up, to New York City, and we were in small town America, like literally nothing like you see in the movies, like little houses with picket fences and flags outside. Okay, we're at the gas station in the middle of nowhere, like there's literally only trees, And this older woman is staring at us. We're 2 guys and 2 girls. And this older woman is staring at us. And she walks up to me and she says, "I'm Dove." I'm like, "Okay." Ask me how old I am. So my friend and I are looking at each other like, why is this drunk lady bothering us? No, ask me how old I am. She said she was, I don't even remember now. She must have been like 80 and she looked like she was 50 or 60. So then she starts telling me about how she puts these potatoes on her face. This would be strange, but something is written on my face that everybody tells me about their life. Not sure why. And so she starts telling me about her skincare routine. And I'm like, yeah, okay, lady, I'm not putting potatoes on my face. And then at the end, she grabs my arm and she says, "I need to give you my number." I said, "Okay." She's like, "You have a gift." I was like, "Excuse me?" Remember, we're in the middle of nowhere. I did not see this woman get out of a car, okay? To this day, I remember sitting, because after I didn't want to talk to her. I was so scared. And so I was sitting in the car and I was like, where did this woman come from? I did not see her get out of a car. And remember that this gas station is essentially in the middle of nowhere. Like the next house was, I don't know, maybe a kilometer or so, a kilometer and a half, like a 25 minute walk. And why would you walk 25 minutes to a gas station if you don't have a car? Anyway, so I'm all freaked out and she leaves me her number. So I know her name is Dove. And I don't think I said anything to my friends. I think I just told them about the potato tips and left it at that. Then, fast forward. COVID happens, the panini and everything, and I'm at home with nothing to do. So I start to study for a life coach certification because my degree is in classical vocal performance, in opera. I had only my bachelor's at the time. Now I also have a master's. And I was thinking, what if the theaters don't open? I guess I better start making a plan B. What do I want to do? I want to help people. Cool, life coaching. So I put a business together where I help girls move abroad. I coach them through it. Not the visa stuff, because I don't know about that, but the emotional stuff. So I joined a business course to help market this life coaching business, to help me sell this business and make more money. And in that course, there was this girl who, I don't know, like I think other people maybe thought that she was a little bit out there because she was talking about 5D and alignment and spiritual awakenings. And I was like, yep, she's speaking my language. And we end up talking a lot. And I tell her, I've been doing tarot readings kind of for fun at parties. And I had all this weird stuff happen to me. And it was just something that I kind of picked up. I kind of learned it. And, I kind of half believe it and I kind of don't. She says, well, I have this course. Like, I teach people how to become psychic mediums. And I'm like, I don't really believe in that. And she's like, okay, well, the first level is just basic spiritual stuff. I was like, okay, that could be interesting. I don't have that much to do. I have a business. I have a little bit of money, extra money in my pocket. So I'm like, why not? So I start taking Brittany's intuition development course. And I'm living with my boyfriend at the time in Germany. And one night we're sleeping in bed and it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I wake up a little bit panicked because I feel like there's someone in the house. I don't feel like there's someone in the house. I feel someone in the house. Okay. And so I'm freaked out. And I'm telling him, I'm like, you have to wake up. There's a ghost in the house. He's like, there's no ghosts. Like, remember, German. No ghosts. I'm saying that because, Germans don't have a reputation of being the most, like they're very practical people. So he's like, there's definitely no ghost. Just go back to bed. But I see this person and I feel this presence of this person who in my head looked like Jack Sparrow. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like they were dressed up as a pirate, okay? And they were in our living room. And so what did I do? I mean, we're going to talk about ghosts in another episode, but I very gently, I said, I really want to help you, but I can't help you right now because I have to sleep and you're freaking me out. So I just asked him to leave. The next morning we had our second last or our last intuition development course. And for some reason, something went wrong. Something went wrong, and we had to reschedule the class. We weren't even supposed to be doing this exercise that day. And we ended up doing billet readings for each other. And that is when Brittany, who is the facilitator, picks out a name for everybody. And so you all read for each other. And as soon as I started my reading started with a name. I'm not supposed to know who I'm reading for. You're just learning, right? This was the end of level 1. So you're just learning. You still kind of have no idea what you're doing. And I get the weirdest thing. I get a girl's name, a blue truck, this country song that I've never heard before. It was crazy. Anyways, when it comes to my turn to share, I didn't say the name because I thought it was all fake. I thought it was all wrong. I thought I was so bad at the course that I just got these random messages. So I start reading everything else other than the name. This girl starts bawling her eyes out. And she's like, that's my partner who's passed. And she starts bawling and she says everything. And guess whose name he said at the beginning? Obviously hers. And I still get goosebumps when I tell the story. It was so crazy. I can't explain what that felt like. Like, that's not what a reading feels like. Like, a reading doesn't feel like the past loved ones, or at least for me, it doesn't feel like they're like sitting in the room with me. It feels like something that I can see in my mind's eye, but not like they're there. I don't know. This was really crazy. And then we were all like, yeah, I guess I'm pretty convinced now. You know, there were other crazy synchronicities. Like, I had to show him the door 3 times for him to leave. I'm talking about my pirate ghost in the living room. And yeah, I am saying that seriously. And she said, you're the 3rd person who's tried to tell me that he's trying to contact me. Like, there were just too many crazy coincidences. And so I continued through the course to the end. And my biggest flex is that my teacher became my client. And I mean, we work together like colleagues, but that's a really big deal. Like, to have it feel like your teacher is treating you as a colleague and like they can trust you to read for others is just a really, really, really big honor. And that's pretty much it. It sounds fake. I realize that it sounds fake. I really, really do. I really understand that. And you can choose to believe me or to not believe me, but that's it. That's my lore. That's how I found out that I had a psychic gift and turned it into a business. And I've been having so much fun doing digital and live readings for people really all over the world of every age. And my whole purpose here is just to be as helpful as I possibly can. Obviously, no one's going to have 2 readings are never going to be alike, and everybody's going to want different things from them. But no 2 readings are going to be alike, and everyone's going to come wanting different things, and they're going to take away different things. And that's the beauty of it, right? I don't read death. I don't want to do anything to scare you. I will never tell you that you have to do anything. And I found that I brought a lot of people closer to this stuff that they thought was maybe like anti-Christian or anti-good person. I don't know. Sometimes being witchy or woo-woo has this negative connotation attached to it that we just don't need to have. You know, you can use the things that are useful for you and leave the things that aren't. That's the beauty of it. I mean, that's the beauty of life, is that you're here to build your own experience and to remember who you are. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me and how I got started. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. And if not, I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Dude Bro Medium podcast. If it resonated, share it, send it to a friend, or whisper it to your spirit guides. Whatever works for you. See you next time.